You're shaking, kid. Are you sure you're ready for the big leagues? Let's hear what you've got.
You think you can sing alone up there? Or are you going to embarrass yourself in front of everyone? The words cut through the bright theater like a slap, spoken loud enough for every seat to hear. A black teenage girl stood frozen at center stage, a single spotlight pressing down on her shoulders. The famous singer beside her smiled as the crowd laughed, not kindly, not softly, but with the careless sound of people enjoying someone else's discomfort. In that moment, the stage was no longer a place of music. It was a test. Her name was Aaliyah Brooks, 17 years old. Thin hands clenched at her sides. Her throat felt dry, her heart racing so fast it almost drowned out the noise of the room. She had been invited as part of a group, a youth choir meant to sing backup for a charity concert. She was never meant to stand alone, not like this. Not now. The singer was famous across the country. Awards lined his shelves. His voice was praised on screens and stages, carried himself with the ease of someone used to applause. When he handed Aaliyah the microphone and stepped back, it was not an act of kindness. It was a dare meant to humiliate. The crowd leaned forward. Some smiled, some whispered. Many waited for failure. Aaliyah swallowed hard and lifted the microphone. Her fingers trembled. She could smell the polished wood of the stage, the faint metal of the mic, the perfume drifting from the front rows. The lights were hot. Her chest felt tight, like the air had thinned. She had known moments like this before. Aaliyah grew up in a small apartment above a closed-down grocery store. The walls were thin, the floor creaked. At night, the city noise seeped in through cracked windows. Music was the only thing that made the place feel warm. Her mother worked long hours cleaning offices. She came home tired, feet aching, but she always hummed while cooking. Soft songs, old songs, songs about hope. When Aaliyah was 8, her mother noticed something. The way the child matched notes without trying. The way she sang quietly while doing homework. Never loud, never for attention, but perfectly in tune. Singing became their shared language. When money was tight, they sang. When days were hard, they sang. Music was not a dream for Aaliyah. It was survival at school. Teachers praised her voice, then moved on. Talent did not protect her from being overlooked. She was often asked to sing background, to blend, to soften herself so others could shine. She learned to stand still and wait. She learned patience the hard way. That patience was being tested now, on stage. The famous singer folded his arms and tilted his head, waiting. The orchestra behind them stayed silent. The choir watched from the side, eyes wide, unable to help. This was no longer rehearsal. This was public judgment. Aaliyah closed her eyes for a brief moment. She thought of her mother, scrubbing floors. Late at night, she thought of singing into a hairbrush as a child, imagining stages she never believed she would stand on. She thought of every time she had been told to be quieter, smaller, grateful. When she opened her eyes, something had settled inside her. She did not speak. She did not argue. She did not plead. She sang. The first note was soft, almost fragile. Floating into the silence like a question, the laughter faded. People shifted in their seats. The sound was clean, steady, and pure. Her voice did not rush. It carried weight without force. Then she climbed. Her voice rose with control and ease. Moving through the melody like it belonged there, each note landed with care. The room changed. Breaths were held. Phones slowly lowered. The singer's smile tightened, just slightly. Aaliyah reached a note that required strength and balance, the kind that cannot be faked. She did not strain. She did not push. She let the sound open fully, filling the theater with warmth and power. People felt it before they understood it. She went higher. The note was clear, unwavering, ringing through the space with a calm confidence that made time feel slow. It was a note the famous singer avoided in his own songs, one he never held live without help. And she held it, steady and effortless, her face calm, her posture relaxed. The orchestra members glanced at each other. The choir watched in stunned silence. A few people in the audience leaned forward, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Aaliyah lowered the note gently, guiding it down with grace. Then finished the phrase with a softness that felt like respect, not apology. Silence followed, not the awkward kind, the heavy kind. The kind that means something has shifted. The famous singer stared at her, his confidence flickering. He took a step forward, then stopped. There was nothing to add. No joke to cover. What had just happened? The audience rose slowly, one section at a time, applause growing into a wave. It was not loud at first. It was deep, earned, real. Aaliyah stood still, breathing carefully, her hands no longer shaking. The singer cleared his throat and reached for his microphone. He tried to laugh it off, to frame it as a surprise, a pleasant moment. But his words felt thin now. The crowd's attention was no longer his to command. The conductor raised his hand, eyes locked on Aaliyah. The orchestra began to play, following her lead without a word spoken. She nodded once and continued, her voice weaving through the music with confidence she had never been allowed to show before. This time, she did not blend. She let the singer join in later, carefully staying within a safe range. He watched her closely now, not with mockery, but with something closer to disbelief. She moved through runs and rises he could not match, her control unbroken, her tone rich and honest. When the song ended, the applause was immediate and thunderous. People stood fully now, clapping above their heads, some wiping tears from their eyes. The choir smiled openly. The orchestra members tapped their stands in quiet respect. Aaliyah looked out at the crowd, light reflecting in her eyes. She did not bow deeply. She did not exaggerate her reaction. She simply stood there, present. Grounded, the famous singer stepped aside without being asked. Later that night, clips of the performance spread everywhere. Not because of the mockery that started it, but because of the grace that ended it.
Hi, people.
Shared the moment she hit the note. The silence before the applause. The look on the singer's face when he realized the stage no longer belonged to him. Aaliyah went home to her small apartment, her mother waiting up, eyes bright with pride. They hugged without speaking, the television replaying the moment again and again. For Aaliyah, the victory was not about outshining anyone. It was about being heard fully for the first time. She did not need to say a word to prove her worth. Her voice did it for her. Sometimes mockery creates the very moment it tries to destroy. Sometimes silence, followed by courage, becomes the loudest sound in the room. If this story moved you, comment where you are watching from and what moment stayed with you the most. Share your thoughts and subscribe for more cinematic stories about quiet strength, hidden talent, and moments that change everything.